Good afternoon, Lebanon area seniors, and welcome to another cooking demo with the Lebanon Senior Center. I'm Rebecca, the activities coordinator at the center, and welcome to my kitchen. Today, we are actually going to be making something that's super simple. You can make really quick if you just need a little sweet treat, a little summer way to cool off in a kind of fun way, and you get to dictate your ingredients, which is always cool. This particular recipe is only going to require 4 ingredients and a handy dandy, I've got one of those little personal blenders, but you can do it in a bigger blender or a food processor as well. Just need something with some powerful blade action because we are going to be working with some frozen fruit. So I've got my container that fits my blender, my little blades. I've got a spatula just because sometimes, you know, things get stuck and you need to open it up and stir it around a bit to stick the thing back on the blender and make sure it gets thoroughly blended, right? I've got a 1/4 measuring cup and I've got a teaspoon. Our ingredients include, I've got vanilla yogurt, a little honey, some frozen strawberries, and some lemon juice. You can certainly take the time and cut a real lemon and squeeze yourself some fresh lemon juice or lime juice. You could certainly use a different mix of frozen fruit. It does need to be frozen for this particular recipe. I know that's kind of intriguing. Why frozen? Well, you'll find out. Instead of honey, you can certainly use no sweetener. You could use regular sugar. I recommend more of a liquid form since it's something going to a frozen beverage. Well, not really beverage, a frozen food item. You want to be able to have a mix equally throughout. So honey, agave, any of your other sweeteners. I'd choose something that had more of a liquidy format instead of a solid, so, or crystalline structure. And then yogurt, you can use a plain yogurt if you want. I like the hint of vanilla myself. Certainly if you wanted to bump up flavor, particular, you know, combination of things, if you were using different fruit, you could do with flavored yogurt as well. Again, if it's a sweetened yogurt, you can go ahead and, you know, knock out any extra sweetener if you wanted to. That's totally up to you. Okay, so what are we doing today, Rebecca? We are making they call it a 5-minute healthy strawberry frozen yogurt. And this recipe comes from a website called Just a Taste. So now her original recipe makes a much larger batch. Calls for 4 cups of frozen strawberries, 3 tablespoons of sweetener, 1/2 cup of plain yogurt, and a tablespoon of fresh lemon. Now, since we're not making a big batch, doing a smaller portion, I'm cutting these portions down to what I'm going to be making here at home. Now, for a lot of people, if you're living alone or living onesies twosies, this is kind of one of those frustrating, commonplace things that you find you need to do. So you're not making a whole bunch more than you need. And again, if you are, you know, watching what you eat for whatever reasons, either weight or health related, or just because you are good and self-disciplined, then you certainly might only want to make a small batch. Since it's so quick, you can make it kind of whenever you wanted to have that little bit of a sweet treat, or on a really hot day and wanted something maybe not as guilt-inducing as a full cream ice cream or something. So let's get started. So in our lovely little container, if you have a regular large food processor, this would go in the bowl of the food processor. Since I'm using an individual smoothie maker blender thingy, I'm just using the cup that it would normally get served in. So we're going to add our frozen strawberries. I'm just going to use the measuring cup I'm going to use for yogurt, so I'm not handling the berries. And since it's 4 cups, usually for the whole batch, I'm going to do, we're going to call it 1 cup, which is about half the berries I have in this bowl. There we go. Now, maybe 1 more just for the heck of it. All right. And then we are going to put in some honey. I don't need to do it that way. So it says 3 tablespoons, so I'm just going to do just a little drop of honey in there. And I'm going to go ahead and drop in my lemon juice. Now the recipe, I love how it has little notes at the bottom. It calls for a tablespoon for the whole big batch. But in the notes down below, it says if you like frozen tart treats, you can add additional lemon juice. I'm like, I do like myself lemon. Lemon is one of my favorite flavors. So I'm thinking, yeah, we definitely need to add some more lemon. So I'm going to use a whole teaspoon, even though if I divided it by 4, a half a cup of yogurt. So actually, I want that back. All right, as I suspected with my particular device, needs a little oomph. So if you've got a food processor, I'd love to know how it works for you. Just a little bit of liquid in there. There we go. All right, it's going back on. Much better. Sometimes you gotta shake it up. All right. All right, it's sounding like it's happy. Should have brought a spoon over. So it looks nice and thick and creamy in there. So I told you I was going to keep the spatula around freezing a little bit longer than a spoon so I can really get it in there. And the recipe says you can eat it just like this, which you really can because it's really kind of thick. Sticks to the spatula. All right, here's the big try. Okay, I really enjoy adding that extra kick of lemon. That was really nice for me. You might, if you don't like tart things, you could even scale it back a little bit or balance it out with the sugar. If you are trying to watch your sugars, don't keep bumping up the acid of the lemon juice and then rebalancing out with sugar. That's not actually going to do anything for you. Just add less sugar or add less lemon juice so you don't need as much sugar. But yeah, look at that, nice and thick. Yeah, this is pretty good. This could hit the spot on a nice hot day. I know that's not quite today, but I'm hoping summer's on the way with some warm weather. Yeah, and I can even imagine doing this with other fruit. So if you've got a different combination of fruit, or depending what's in season, you can certainly go out and get your hands on some. When peach season comes along, you could have some nice peach frozen yogurt or blackberry frozen yogurt. Or, you know, if you don't pick your own fruit and don't want to deal with that, certainly going down to the frozen fruit section of the grocery store, getting a big bag, keep it in the freezer. Great for smoothies, but also for making your own frozen yogurt. If you do want it even thicker, you can put it in an airtight container and put it in your freezer for up to a month. Just make sure you label it so you know when you put it in there. All right, that's it for me. I've got to kind of find some place to sit and I'm going to have to eat the rest of this. I'm sorry, guys. You know, it's really hard to do a cooking demo and not have you here to share it with. So give this a shot at home. Let me know what flavor combinations you come up with. And don't forget, if your blender doesn't like the thickness, you can add a little flavored water, or you can even add a splash of milk. You know, go with the feel of the yogurt. It can be an almond milk or whatever little liquid you wanted to add in there. If you, again, wanted to bump up citrus notes, you could even do a little orange juice. Again, kick back your sweetener a little bit if you're adding a fruit juice. You guys have a great rest of your day. That's it for this episode of our Celebrating Strawberries cooking demo. Today we're celebrating the strawberries, but definitely inviting you to celebrate some other fruit this summer season as well. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Huh?
I said, don't eat it all.